The film begins by depicting Kowloon Walled City in the 1950s as a slum area in Hong Kong with a high crime rate. The numerous gangster groups frequently committing various crimes in the city lead a martial artist nicknamed Cyclone to come and unite with the city's residents to fight and end the dominance of the largest gangster group controlling the city. At that moment, Cyclone and Lay, the leader of the largest gangster group in Kowloon Walled City, are seen facing off for control of the city. With his martial arts skills, Cyclone ultimately wins the fight, making the city more peaceful without gangsters roaming around. 30 years later, in the 1980s, Hong Kong has developed into an entertainment hub for many people looking to have fun or get rich by gambling in various casinos spread across the city. Additionally, many residents often bet on illegal fights led by a major drug gangster group headed by Mr. Big. In one such fight, an illegal immigrant named Chan La Quan is seen easily winning the match. Apparently, La Quan has just arrived in Hong Kong seeking work, and with his martial arts skills, he catches the attention of Mr. Big, who invites La Quan to join his gang and run illegal businesses in Hong Kong. However, La Quan declines Mr. Big's offer, stating that he is not interested in becoming a gangster. His decision to sign up as a fighter is solely to earn money, which La Quan will use to pay someone who can provide him with an identity card as a Hong Kong resident. With that identity, La Quan hopes to get a better job without worrying about being deported back to his country. Upon hearing La Quan's explanation, Mr. Big's right-hand man named King then says that they can also make an identity card for him, but the process will take 2 weeks. Wanting to get the identity card quickly, La Quan agrees to pay Mr. Big's group by fighting without being paid. 2 weeks later, La Quan returns to meet Mr. Big to collect the identity card promised by King. Unfortunately, King hands over a fake identity card, claiming that La Quan only deserves this card because he entered Hong Kong illegally. La Quan is visibly upset by King and Mr. Big's gang members' treatment of him. At that moment, La Quan even demands that Mr. Big return the money he earned from his fights. Unfortunately, Mr. Big laughs, reminding La Quan that the underground world of Hong Kong is ruthless and that since La Quan rejected his job offer, Mr. Big has no reason to show kindness to. Feeling frustrated at being deceived, La Quan, knowing he would lose if he fought Mr. Big's men, decides to leave the gangsters' headquarters by stealing one of Mr. Big's money bags. Quickly, La Quan runs to the city center and boards a double-decker bus. Unfortunately, King and his men manage to find La Quan, leading to a fight on the upper deck. La Quan struggles against King, who also possesses formidable martial arts skills. Just when La Quan is cornered, the bus driver slams the brakes in shock at seeing someone dangling in front of the bus's windshield. La Quan seizes this opportunity to escape from King and makes his way to Kowloon Walled City, an area known to be off-limits to Mr. Big's gang. To avoid causing trouble with the local gang in Kowloon, King and his men decide to wait outside. Shortly after, a guard named Shin arrives to warn King not to enter the area, especially since Shin has received information from another guard about a stranger entering their territory. On the other hand, La Quan is quite surprised upon entering a seemingly abandoned building, as it is actually inhabited by many people. La Quan then goes to a small room to check how much money he has taken from the stolen bag. When he opens the bag, La Quan is shocked to find that he did not steal a bag of money, but rather narcotics intended for distribution by Mr. Big's men. In his frustration, La Quan notices a young man nearby consuming narcotics and asks where he obtained the drugs. With the information he obtained, La Quan then tries to find the drug dealers in the area because he intends to sell all the narcotics he has. Upon reaching his destination, La Quan immediately offers a bag of narcotics to some young men gathered there. Unexpectedly, these young men are not drug dealers as La Quan thought, and they try to beat up La Quan for daring to enter their place to sell drugs in their territory. La Quan then tries to escape from the group of young men chasing him until Shin blocks La Quan and asks for his identity, questioning why he dared to cause chaos in Kowloon. La Quan intends to fight Shin, but seeing that he is surrounded by the townspeople, La Quan decides to flee by recklessly jumping off the building to avoid the pursuing residents. La Quan then enters a barbershop where he sees Cyclone, so he takes the seemingly weak man hostage to prevent Shin and the others from capturing him. After the townspeople arrive at the place, La Quan immediately holds a sharp metal object to Cyclone's neck until Cyclone suddenly throws La Quan and attacks him repeatedly until he is slammed to the floor. Cyclone even performs the attack without dropping his cigarette. Seeing Lawans sitting in the corner of the room, Cyclone calmly sits in a chair, and Shin informs Cyclone, who is an elder in Kowloon, that Lawans has brought in and intends to sell illegal drugs in their area. Hearing this report, Cyclone looks angry because he has been trying to keep Kowloon free from various illegal transactions, including drug trafficking, which could cause more serious problems. Despite this, Cyclone still gives Lawans a chance by asking him to leave Kowloon immediately before he changes his mind. Shin then throws the bag containing Lawans' narcotics, causing the frightened Lawans to jump from the upper floor and fall to the ground. With his injured leg, Lawans tries to leave Kowloon, but after seeing the police patrolling, he starts to panic because he doesn't have an identity card and could be arrested. Lawans decides to climb back up the building to return to Cyclone and offer the narcotics he has in exchange for money to survive in Hong Kong. At that moment, Lawans confesses that he entered Hong Kong illegally to get a better job because he has no family. Unfortunately, Mr. Big tricked him, so Lawans stole a bag of narcotics, initially thinking it was money. Shin then confirms Lawans' confession, as he had seen Mr. Big's men wandering around Kowloon as if they were chasing something. Hearing this, Cyclone asks Lawans to give him the bag while saying that although money is important, one's life is equally important for Lawans to survive in Hong Kong. In the end, Cyclone also orders Shin to take Lawans to meet AV for treatment. A while later, Cyclone is seen in Mr. Big's room, surprising him and making him question how Cyclone managed to get into his room. At that moment, Cyclone says that his visit that night is not to challenge him to a fight, but to return the bag of narcotics that Lawans stole earlier. Cyclone even intentionally gives Mr. Big some money, so that the gangster leader will forget Lawans' actions. Mr. Big then says he will not touch Lawans, who is hiding in Kowloon, but if he sees Lawans outside of Kowloon, he will hunt him down even if it triggers a major fight between the Dragon Gang and the Phoenix Gang. Meanwhile, AV, who is treating Lawans, says that he is lucky that his hand is not broken from the fight with Cyclone. AV also advised Lawans not to lift heavy objects or drink alcohol until his wound healed. Hearing this, Lawans silently agreed with AV's advice, who turned out to work at an adult video rental store. Not long after AV finishes treating Lawans, Shin arrives and informs Lawans that the wound on AV's face was caused by the Phoenix gangsters led by Mr. Big, which is why he now has to wear a face cover. It is known that AV still holds a grudge against the rival gang. Additionally, Shin tells Lawans that his problem with Mr. Big has been resolved by Cyclone by returning the stolen narcotics and giving extra money to Mr. Big. Therefore, Lawans must repay Cyclone's money by working in Kowloon until all his debts are paid off. Sometime later, Lawans meets Yen Fan at a restaurant where he will work according to AV's recommendation. Yen Fan then instructs Lawans to start working immediately, and without wasting any time, Lawans begins his assigned tasks. To earn more money, Lawans also takes on other jobs he can find. Through these various jobs, Lawans realizes that Cyclone is highly influential in Kowloon, as many people believe that he truly keeps their home safe from becoming a crime hub. Moreover, Cyclone's wisdom in resolving each issue in Kowloon is also why many residents can continue living in a place neglected by the Hong Kong government. One night, while Lawans is sitting and enjoying a piece of bread after work, Cyclone suddenly calls him and invites him to eat together at the roast pork restaurant where Lawans works. Unexpectedly, Cyclone has been secretly observing Lawans, knowing that he has never had a delicious meal since being in Walled City. Once the food is served, Lawans eats heartily, especially since it is the first time he has enjoyed such a luxurious meat dish since moving to Hong Kong. While enjoying the meal, Cyclone becomes curious about what Lawans plans to do with the money he is saving, knowing that he works multiple jobs every day. Lawans explains that he wants to buy an identity card so he can live in Hong Kong permanently without worrying about being caught by the police for being an illegal immigrant. Hearing Lawans' desire, Cyclone decides to help Lawans achieve his dream. During their conversation, Cyclone also suggests that Lawans sleep in the restaurant's attic instead of on the rooftop, promising not to charge him rent. Therefore, Cyclone reminds him that while saving money is important, if Lawans' health deteriorates, he won't be able to enjoy the fruits of his labor. As days pass, Lawans seems happier living in Walled City, as everyone welcomes him warmly despite being a newcomer. One day, while delivering food to a brothel, Lawans meets a little girl named Su Ying waiting for her mother to finish work. The little girl also has to witness her father's harsh treatment of her mother. Knowing this, Lawans feels sympathetic but is unable to help Su Ying. A few days later, Lawans sees the little girl again, standing still and staring at the ceiling of a hallway where her mother's body is hanging. After discovering the body, Lawans immediately takes down Su Ying's mother. Shortly after, Cyclone and several residents, including AV, arrive to investigate the cause of Su Ying's mother's death. The examination then reveals that the victim did not die from falling off the building but from a blow that caused her lungs to rupture. This suggests that the perpetrator intentionally pushed Su Ying's mother's lifeless body from the building to make her death appear as a simple accident. Cyclone then asks Shin to move the victim's body to a public toilet disposal and report the incident to the city council so the government will handle her funeral. Hearing this, Lawans is shocked and questions why they seem indifferent to Su Ying's mother's death. Cyclone explains that many Kowloon residents do not have official identity cards, making it impossible to arrange a proper funeral without arousing police suspicion, which could jeopardize the lives of other residents in Kowloon. On another occasion, Lawans, angry about the murder incident, begins to hunt down Su Ying's father, who is suspected of being the murderer because he is the only one who always abused his wife. Using a mask candy to cover his face, Lawans prepares to beat up Su Ying's father as he walks through the city alley until he realizes that there are 3 other masked men also targeting Su Ying's father. Without hesitation, Lawans teams up with them to attack their target. When Lawans' mask accidentally comes off, one of the masked men immediately gives him a new mask so that his face is not recognized by the target. After successfully beating up Su Ying's father until he can no longer walk, Lawans and the 3 masked men decide to leave their target. Afterward, the 4 of them gather and realize that they all had the same intention of teaching Su Ying's father a lesson for always abusing his wife. Besides meeting Shin and AV, Lawans also meets 12th Master, a henchman of Tiger. Although Tiger is one of the most respected people in Kowloon, he is known to obey Cyclone because of his kindness in saving Tiger's life in the past. The next day, Lawans is seen with Cyclone enjoying his leisure time by flying kites. At that moment, Cyclone asks Lawans about the attack on Su Ying's father. Although Lawans beat the man, he does not mind because, in his view, Su Ying's father deserved retribution for his cruel behavior towards his wife. During the conversation, Cyclone also discusses Lawans' intention to settle in Kowloon, warning him to be prepared for anything that might happen in the city. In the afternoon, while the residents of Kowloon are going about their activities, a Hong Kong television program discusses the future of the city, noting that the year is significant for Hong Kong as Britain has agreed to return Hong Kong to China. The speaker on the program also touches on various social issues in Kowloon Walled City, suggesting that the city might be demolished by the government to prevent illegal residents and reduce crime rates in Hong Kong. While listening to the news, Cyclone is at AV's place, getting his health checked due to a tumor in his lungs. It turned out, AV has repeatedly asked Cyclone to have his lungs examined at a hospital with better and more complete equipment. Unfortunately, Cyclone refuses, thinking it would be pointless since he feels he doesn't have much time left to live. Nevertheless, Cyclone asks AV to keep his illness a secret from the residents so they won't worry about his health condition. After finishing the examination at AV's place, Cyclone goes to meet his comrade Dick Chow, who lost his wife and 2 children in a fight decades ago. Besides giving him the monthly rent money from Kowloon paid by the residents to Cyclone, he also reminds Dick Chow to start letting go of his family's death because they are getting older and deserve to live in peace. Unfortunately, Dick Chow feels he must avenge the death of his family at the hands of Chan Zin. Although Cyclone managed to kill Chan Zin, Dick Chow intends to hunt down Chan's family, especially his son, who is rumored to still be alive. On the other hand, Lawans, Shin, 12th, and AV are gathered in the restaurant attic, having fun singing karaoke together. They also share their dreams for the future, such as AV wanting to become a doctor and Shin dreaming of opening a karaoke place so he can sing all day long. 12th wants to become a big boss so he can earn money without working hard. Meanwhile, Lawans is simply thinking about how he can live permanently in Kowloon. Afterward, Lawans goes to Cyclone's barbershop to express his desire to spend his life in Kowloon. After his mother's death, Lawans admits he has always lived from city to city, but after being in Kowloon, he feels like he has found his home. During his time in Kowloon, Lawans feels happy and can sleep soundly, so he wants to settle in the city. Seeing the seriousness in his eyes, Cyclone asks Lawans to stay in Kowloon as he wishes before the government demolishes the city. Cyclone also says he will teach Lawans how to cut hair because someday, he might take over managing the barbershop. Lawans is confused by Cyclone's words, especially when Cyclone suddenly starts trimming his beard. At the same time, while shaving Lawans' beard, Cyclone begins to realize that Lawans resembles his old best friend, Zhen. On another occasion, Shin and 12th invite Lawans to a restaurant outside of Kowloon to celebrate a party hosted by Dick Chow. From Shin and 12th's explanations, Lawans learns that Dick Chow and Tiger play important roles for Kowloon because they handle issues outside of Kowloon and protect the city's existence from Hong Kong gangsters. Meanwhile, Cyclone, their leader, is responsible for maintaining security within Kowloon. The three leaders of Kowloon are said to have taken a brotherhood oath, ensuring that if one of them faces trouble, the others will be ready to help, even at the risk of their lives. As Lawans and the others pass by the Kowloon temple, Lawans wonders why the temple is damaged in some areas. Hearing this, Shin and 12th explain that 30 years ago, a war occurred involving a major gangster led by Lei, who wanted to compete with Dick Chow for control of Kowloon. Although Lei's martial arts skills were not very good, his subordinate, Zhen, who was nicknamed the King of Killers, made the gang strong, allowing Lei to lead Kowloon for many years before being overthrown. In the past war, Lei ordered Zhen to kidnap Dick Chow's family to make Dick Chow submit to him. Additionally, Zhen caused Tiger to lose one of his eyes in the major battle. After days of fighting, Cyclone eventually joined the battle and became the only person who successfully killed Zhen. Returning to the present, Dick Chow is seen inviting all his brothers and subordinates to announce that he has received important information that Zhen's son, named Lawans, is now in Hong Kong. Cyclone, upon hearing this, is shocked because Lawans is the son of his old friend. Shortly after, Lawans and the others arrive, and Cyclone tries to conceal Lawans' identity by calling him by a different name to prevent Dick Chow and Tiger from becoming suspicious. At that moment, Cyclone remembered how he and Zhen were close friends from two rival gangster factions who had to fight each other in a great battle decades ago. When they faced each other, Zhen said that if he lost, Cyclone had to become the foster father to his son and take his family out of Hong Kong. On the other hand, if Cyclone lost, he asked Zhen to continue running his barbershop business. They then continued their fight, which Cyclone ultimately won. To fulfill his promise to his friend, Cyclone secretly took Zhen's wife and son out of Hong Kong to protect them from gangsters. In the present, Cyclone is in a difficult position because he is aligned with Dick Chow and cannot reveal Lawans' identity due to his past promise to Zhen. Shortly after the celebration ended, Tiger, already in the car, ordered 12th to prepare a team to search for Lawans, who is the son of his past enemy. Hearing the name Lawans, 12th was shocked and couldn't believe that his friend was the son Dick Chow was searching for. Upon arriving in Kowloon, 12th immediately sent a voice message via phone to Shin to inform him of Lawans' true identity. Shin thought 12th was just talking nonsense because he was drunk, but after confirming with Cyclone, Shin was shocked when he also confirmed it. Switching to the horse racing arena, a government official was seen asking Mr. Big to drive the people out of Kowloon. If Mr. Big and his gang could do that, the official promised to divert hundreds of millions of dollars in government compensation to the Phoenix gang. Although Mr. Big was tempted by the offer, he knew he couldn't attack Kowloon without a solid plan because his gang would have to face Cyclone, who had Dick Chow and Tiger as his backing. Therefore, Mr. Big planned to weaken Cyclone's strength by sowing discord among the leaders of Kowloon. On the next occasion, Mr. Big intentionally invites Dick Chow to provide information about Lawans. From the civil records he received, Dick Chow is shocked to discover that Lawans, whom he knows, is Zhen's son, the person he has been searching for. Additionally, Dick Chow's anger intensifies upon learning that Cyclone deliberately hid Lawans in Kowloon. Meanwhile, Shin and 12th try to get Lawans out of Kowloon and inform him that he is Zhen's son, whom Dick Chow is searching for. Lawans is in disbelief and rejects his two friends' plan to evacuate him, but Shin and 12th insist that he must leave before Dick Chow kills him. Lawans then goes to see Cyclone and says that he will not leave Kowloon because he feels he does not deserve karma for his father's past actions. Additionally, Lawans has grown comfortable living in the city with people who accept him. In the midst of their conversation, Dick Chow and Tiger suddenly arrive with their subordinates. Dick Chow immediately expresses his anger at Cyclone for trying to hide the truth about Lawans, arguing that he could have told him during their previous meeting at the restaurant. However, Cyclone does not respond to Dick Chow's anger, prompting Tiger to defend Dick Chow and order his men to kill Lawans, the son of their old enemy. With no other choice, Lawans had to fight everyone trying to eliminate him. Unexpectedly, with his martial arts skills, Lawans managed to defeat Tiger and his men, forcing Dick Chow to step in and face Lawans himself. In the ensuing fight, Dick Chow initially manages to corner and choke Lawans, but he bites Dick Chow's ear, causing the Kowloon leader great pain. Despite this, Dick Chow rises again, and just as Lawans is about to stab Dick Chow with a knife, Cyclone is forced to intervene to stop the fight by knocking Lawans back. At that moment, Cyclone asks Lawans to leave Hong Kong immediately. Dick Chow, upon hearing this, is furious with Cyclone's decision and insists that he will not allow Lawans to leave Hong Kong alive. Because of that, Cyclone tries to stop Dick Chow, ending up getting slashed by the knife. Seeing this, Lawans quickly runs to help Cyclone, but Dick Chow blocks him and stabs Lawans in the stomach, causing a severe injury. AV and the restaurant chef, outraged by Dick Chow's actions against Lawans, take turns attacking him. Once Dick Chow is cornered, Cyclone tells him to let go of their past, but Dick Chow remains indifferent, believing that a life must be avenged with another life. After the incident, Dick Chow, feeling betrayed by Cyclone, seeks help from Mr. Big to have the Phoenix gang kill Lawans. To persuade Mr. Big, Dick Chow offers to give him anything he wants in return. Enticed by the offer, Mr. Big agrees to help Dick Chow promptly. Meanwhile, in Kowloon, AV informs Cyclone and the others that Lawans has a severe abdominal wound and needs to be taken to the hospital for medical treatment. Cyclone then immediately asks Shin to make arrangements for Lawans to leave Kowloon, knowing that Dick Chow will not rest and will try to prevent him from surviving. Sometime later, Mr. Big and his men arrive in Kowloon to find Lawans. Cyclone, aware of Mr. Big's arrival, intervenes and meets the Phoenix gang leader at his barbershop. At the same time, 12th receives a phone call informing him that Kowloon is under attack by the Phoenix gang, prompting 12th to head to the city to save his friends. Understanding his feelings, Tiger allows 12th to go, advising him to be careful. At Cyclone's place, Mr. Big announces that he has become the leader of Kowloon because Dick Chow has given him a power of attorney to manage the area. Therefore, Mr. Big demands that Cyclone hand over Lawans. Outside, AV secretly tries to get the injured Lawans out of Kowloon as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, Mr. Big's men, who are patrolling the city's alleys to find Lawans, notice this and attack AV. Back at the barbershop, after one of Mr. Big's men reports that they have found Lawans, Mr. Big and King rush to leave, but Cyclone tries to stop them. With Mr. Big's strength, Cyclone is overpowered and falls, allowing the gangster boss to leave and join his men. At the same time, AV receives help from Shin, who arrives and neutralizes Mr. Big's men. After ensuring all the gangsters' men are down, AV and Shin plan to continue their journey to get Lawans out of Kowloon. Unfortunately, their efforts are halted by the arrival of King, forcing Shin to confront Mr. Big's right-hand man. Strangely, when Shin attempts to attack King with a knife, King appears impervious to sharp objects and even turns the tables by cutting off 3 of his fingers. Shortly after, Mr. Big intercepts AV, who is carrying Lawans. Fortunately, Cyclone arrives and stops Mr. Big by kicking him down, allowing AV to continue his journey, although AV is once again halted by the arrival of King. AV then tries various attacks, but strangely, they do not harm King at all. Even when Shin and 12th come to help AV, the 3 of them are unable to defeat King. Meanwhile, Cyclone, who is facing Mr. Big, starts to struggle, and just as Mr. Big is about to finish him, the chef appears to stop Mr. Big. With his 2 swords, the chef tries to attack Mr. Big, even though the chef's martial arts skills are no match for the gangster leader. As a result, the chef is ultimately defeated after Mr. Big seizes the chef's 2 swords and uses them to stab the chef to death. Afterward, Mr. Big sees Lawans lying not far from him and intends to kill the young man. Not standing idle, Cyclone quickly throws a large hammer that hits Mr. Big in the chest and then delivers another attack using a gear chain, injuring him. Unfortunately, in the midst of the fight, Cyclone's illness worsens, causing him to vomit blood. Seeing this, King takes advantage of the situation to stab Cyclone in the stomach. Realizing his life won't last much longer, Cyclone deliberately pushes King into a shop and closes the shop's rolling door, trapping King and Mr. Big inside with him, giving AV and the others a chance to take Lawans away. Although saddened to leave Cyclone behind, Shin and his two friends quickly take Lawans to an area where residents can find him and take him to the hospital. Meanwhile, Shin and the others decide to confront Mr. Big's remaining men to prevent them from finding Lawans. Sometime later, Lawans regains consciousness in the hospital with his hands cuffed because he is recorded as an illegal immigrant who entered Hong Kong without official documents. A few days after the fight between Mr. Big's group and Cyclone, Dick Chow visits Cyclone's barbershop to mourn the death of Kowloon's leader. Shortly after, Mr. Big and his men arrive, bringing the elders of Kowloon and forcing them, including Dick Chow, to sign a land sale agreement at a low price. Dick Chow refuses, pointing out that Mr. Big broke his agreement by killing Cyclone instead of Lawans. Due to this refusal, King hits Dick Chow on the head with a hammer until he faints and then puts him in a dog cage to force him to sign the Kowloon land sale agreement. On another occasion, King meets Mr. Big and suggests that he resell the Kowloon area to the government so they can make a significant profit. Mr. Big agrees and asks King to handle everything since his injuries from the previous fight have not fully healed. Sometime later, King leads Mr. Big's other men to evict the residents of Kowloon. During this time, King begins to think that he is more suitable to lead the Kowloon area, especially since he has killed the legendary Cyclone. That night, as Mr. Big is about to take his medication in his room, he is startled by the sound of someone entering. As Mr. Big checks it out, King suddenly appears and strangles him to death. The next day, Lawans, who has been discharged from the hospital, is seen at the immigration office and is at risk of being deported from Hong Kong for being considered an illegal immigrant. At that moment, Lawans tries to convince the immigration officer by saying that he was born in Hong Kong and that he returned to obtain his identity card. Hearing this, the immigration officer then checks Lawans' documents and finally finds proof that he was indeed born in Hong Kong. Because of this, Lawans is spared from deportation and receives his identity card, allowing him to stay in Hong Kong as he wishes. After resolving the issue at the immigration office, Lawans goes to Tiger's residence to inquire about the whereabouts of Shin and the others, where Tiger tells him that Lawans' three friends died in the fight against Mr. Big's group, but Lawans does not believe him. Additionally, Lawans also tells Tiger that he needs Shin and the others' help to avenge Cyclone's death at the hands of King. Seeing Lawans' determination, Tiger finally reveals that Lawans' three friends are now living by the beach. Without hesitation, Lawans rushes to meet Shin, AV, and 12th at a simple floating house by the beach. Upon meeting his three friends, Lawans is quite shocked by their condition, especially since they were injured while saving him. Despite this, Lawans and the others feel happy to be reunited. To celebrate their reunion, the four friends play mahjong until late at night, just as they often did while living in Kowloon. The next morning, Shin and the others are shocked to find that Lawans has left the floating house, leading them to suspect that he has likely returned to Kowloon to avenge Cyclone's death. Sometime later, King, who has become the leader in Kowloon, is seen performing a ritual to summon a demon, hoping to become invulnerable to his enemies' attacks. Unbeknownst to King, Lawans has secretly infiltrated Kowloon and asked Su Ying to inform all the residents to stay indoors that night. Su Ying then quickly spreads Lawans' message, and soon all the villagers prepare to halt their activities. Soon after, Lawans creates smoke to obscure the vision of King's guards, allowing Lawans to easily take them down and enter the place where King is still performing the ritual. Without hesitation, Lawans starts taking down the remaining guards. In the midst of the fight, Shin, AV, and 12th arrive and join Lawans in defeating all the members of the Phoenix gang to avenge Cyclone's death. Working together, the four friends manage to take down King's men, which enrages King. He begins shooting at Lawans and the others with two long-barreled rifles. Therefore, Lawans and his three friends quickly hide to avoid King's gunfire. When King reaches a corridor, Lawans emerges to stop his rampage, while Shin and the others take on the remaining men. After defeating all the enemies, the three friends join Lawans in attacking King. Unfortunately, King's martial arts skills and his seemingly invulnerable body overwhelm Lawans and the others, making it seem as if King cannot be hurt at all. Shin, in frustration, tries to push King so they both fall off the rooftop, but a clothesline stops them from falling completely. Unexpectedly, King manages to get up and prepares to kill Shin with a sharp weapon until Lawquan tackles King along with himself to save Shin. At that moment, Shin attempts to hold onto the rope, entangling King and Lawquan to save his friend. Seeing this, Lawquan then asks Shin to let go of the rope, but Shin refuses, insisting that they win and lose together. Because of that, Lawquan tries to attack King again using a sword that King previously held, even though he easily breaks the sword with his mouth. Not wanting to miss the opportunity, Lawquan presses the broken blade into King's body, hoping to injure him. Unfortunately, King stabs another piece of the broken blade into Lawquan's shoulder, causing him to fall. King even throws the blade piece at Lawquan before climbing back up to the rooftop to finish off Shin and the others. At the same time, a tornado suddenly appears as if Cyclone himself has come to help Lawquan and his friends win the fight. With the help of the wind, Lawquan manages to climb up to the rooftop and hits King in the back just as he is about to throw Shin off the roof. Due to Lawquan's powerful strike, the broken blade inside King's body shifts, injuring his internal organs. Lawquan and the others seize the moment to beat the Phoenix gang leader, until Lawquan hands a sword to Shin, giving his friend the chance to avenge Cyclone's death. Without hesitation, Shin plunges the sword into King's abdomen, finally killing the gang leader. After their victory, Lawquan and the others go to Cyclone's barbershop, where they free Dick Chow, who is locked in a dog cage. At the end of the film, Lawquan and his three friends are seen on the rooftop of a Kowloon building, enjoying the view of Hong Kong. At that moment, they realize that Kowloon will soon become a memory, as the city is slated for demolition in September 1993. Moral lesson from the story: never trust your barber with secrets, especially if he's also a gangster. You might end up with more than just a trim. And remember, even if you're hiding from vengeful enemies, karaoke with friends is the best way to plan your next move.